KuCoin Labs. I think that, and Justina is the chairman of Women in Blockchain Canada. So, and Summer is here. Hi, Summer. Good evening.
Hello, I'm in Myanmar. It's afternoon now.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Good. So I think our live stream has started. So now, welcome all of you pioneers joining us from all around the world. Welcome to our Web3 Disruptors Week. So right now, I will give the floor to Echo. So everyone, please do enjoy the communication. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Kira, and welcome everyone to today's roundtable session on female disruptors. My name is Echo Guo. I'm the CEO and co-founder of MetaDojo. So MetaDojo is a Web3 project that we focused on providing designers 3D spaces ready for website as well as virtual land. So that's what we do. We're also the technology partner, very privileged to be the technology partner for this year's Web3 Disruptor Week. So that hopefully that many of you have experienced that Lotus Stadium that we built for this conference, and that's one way of us giving a slice of how the metaverse can impact our life. And I'm very privileged to be joined by our guests this evening, or morning to some of them. So that's I'll let each of them to introduce themselves very briefly before we start our questions. Could I start with you, Justina?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Justina, and I'm the founder of Women in Blockchain Canada. I've been running that organization since 2019. We do host events and workshops related to education about blockchain and Web3. Thank you, Echo.
Thank you so much, Christina. Next up, Summer.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Summer. We can hear you. We can't see you.
Yeah. Hi. It's here because I'm in Myanmar. I'm Summer, fan of New Block, and we're crypto hedge fans in both crypto and traditional financial markets. We have our team in China and the United States. Now I'm in Myanmar. I like to and hope to hear more spark ideas in this event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Summer, for joining us. Next, Kira. Kira, would you like to be the next one to introduce yourself?
Sure thing. Thank you very much for inviting me to be a part of the panel today. It's an honor to represent my company. I work for BitCountry, and it's also an honor to represent crypto women. We are all here being pioneers in the space and representing us. So it's a privilege to be part of this panel today. So my name is Kira. I am based in New Zealand, which is and also Queenstown. So it's in the lower half of the North Island. It's a beautiful alpine town, and I welcome everybody, if you're ever in New Zealand, to come and experience Queenstown. It's beautiful any time of the year. So for myself, I'm fairly new into the crypto industry. I have a background in chemical process engineering and a little bit of real estate as well. And then I've sort of fallen into the trap of, or not really a trap, but the rabbit hole of crypto industry, and have since been privileged enough to be onboarded by BitCountry. So I'm sure we'll tell you a bit more about our application soon enough.
Thank you. Thank you, Kira. I think you forgot to mention the second title of you. It's you sound like on top of ambassador of BitCountry, you're also ambassador of Queenstown. As a fellow New Zealander, yeah, that's definitely a very nice place to visit. Okay, our last guest to introduce herself is Han. Han, are you there?
Thanks, Echo. And hi, everyone. This is Han from KuCoin Labs. Just a bit background about myself. So I was working in investment banks, consultancy, and equity in healthcare sector in the past 8 years. So I joined the crypto space last year, the KuCoin Labs, and now the lead investment manager with KuCoin Labs. So just some Also, some color about KuCoin Labs. We are the investment and incubator and also the research force of the KuCoin ecosystem. So we diversify and intensify investments into projects at early stage to help them to, achieve sustainable growth and the success in a decentralized world. We now have over 50 projects, including some notable names such as Blocktopia, CoinWeb, Totem, and Carowall, etc. So we invest a lot in various sectors such as infrastructure, DeFi, and NFT. In April last year, we established a fund amounting to 50 million to find next crypto gem. And also in November last year, we has introduced the 100 million fund to empower the metaverse ecosystem and other innovative projects. So I believe even now in such a bearish market, we still haven't stopped our footprints in building and really helping the projects to grow. So probably you will hear more good news coming from us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Han. Yeah, I'm sure most of us have heard of KuCoin and the wonderful work you guys have done for the industry, and I'm sure there will be plenty of that coming in the future. Okay. Yes, thank you everyone for joining today's panel. And if you are new, just joined, so we are this is the roundtable session on female disruptors. My first question to everyone here is that I'm just curious to learn how you guys got into the Web3 industry. What really attracted you to this to Web3, and and what you guys are what you're currently working on. And could we start with Summer?
Hello. Yeah.
Is okay, Summer?
Yeah, it's very honoring to answer this question because actually we think cryptos are built on values. It's not only technology, but very fancy, value-based new technology that could let us to share peer-to-peer transfer and then value share. So for me, actually, we think Web3 is not only a technology, but it's also empower us to have our own rights about data, communication, storage, and a better new world. So that's why I think Web3 is very elegant and charming to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Summer. That's a yeah. We can tell from the passion, your passion, from what you just said. And Kira, would you like to tell us about what draws you to Web3?
Definitely. I think it's an interesting question as well. I find it very interesting to figure out how people got into this industry, because it's not something that's essentially taught at high schools. Well, it isn't at the moment, but maybe in the future. I definitely didn't learn anything about Web3 or blockchain through high school. So learning about how you discovered Web3 is always interesting. For myself, my own journey started in 2017. I was at university and just sort of dabbling in it, heard what Bitcoin was, didn't really know too much here and there, and I got out of it because I was just too busy studying and whatnot. It wasn't until then later in 2020 I actually took an online trading course, and then I just sort of found myself looking at technical analysis, analyzing charts, doing whatever I could, just spending hours trying to figure out what was going on with all of these market patterns. And then I was only really focused on the fundamentals of the projects, and at the time it was it wasn't really metaverse or Web3 based. It was more just sort of looking at just different solutions that blockchain technology was using. So then after learning about this technical analysis, I sort of got the hook into the industry. And then it wasn't actually until last year in October when when Facebook rebranded as Metaverse. And I remember watching a YouTube interview with Mark Zuckerberg, and he was describing his version of what a metaverse could look like. And all of a sudden I was like, okay, what are NFTs? What is this metaverse stuff? I jumped on YouTube, was researching, then I joined Discord groups, Telegram groups, you name it, I was into it. And then I just sort of put all my eggs in one basket and thought, hey, I actually am so passionate about this. This is life-changing. There's so much innovation in this space and I want to be a part of it. And if I can spend my 8-hour day working in the industry as well as my own recreational time outside of the industry, I knew it was something that I wanted to be a part of. I was lucky enough to then find my company, BitCountry. So just to give you a little bit of information about what BitCountry is. So we are a Web3 based application that has been built. We're building actually our own blockchain as well called Metaverse Network Blockchain, and we are providing Metaverse as a service. So essentially this means that we're building a platform that will give users all of the tools, no matter what your level of competency is, that you'll be able to come in and create your own metaverse. You don't need to have any coding knowledge or any 3D modeling knowledge. Essentially, we give all of those tools wrapped up in a bundle right there on our platform. Our platform is accessible via the browser, so you don't need to even download anything. You just need to have a smart device and the internet connection, and then you're away laughing. So what you do in a metaverse, I think everybody's understanding of a metaverse is quite different. It's a new buzzword. There's a lot of questions around it, and we give people the opportunity to come in and create their own version of their metaverse. So they can come in and they can build using voxels, similar sort of to Minecraft, or place 3D assets. And then they can invite their own communities or family and friends. It's a place to come and network, socialize. So I think just giving people a platform or an application where it's like a one-stop shop essentially, where they can come in and it's really easy for them to navigate. So we've actually also just released our testnet. It's been live for now, actually a month, and it's going really well. So if you are interested in discovering the opportunities that are available with metaverses, or if you want to mint your own NFTs, we provide that service as well. I definitely encourage you guys to check it out. It's testnet.bit.country, and we welcome all of your feedback.
Wow. That's, again, your passion and dedication to your work shines through that. Thanks, Kira. And Justina, I'm very curious to find your answers to that, because you obviously coming as a slightly different to everybody else, because you funded an organization that's just dedicated to women, and we'd be really interested to find out how did it all happen.
Yeah, so to answer your question, I went to a conference myself. I think it was either in 2018 or 2019. And when I was there, I realized how little women there were in the space. So what ended up happening is that I think it might have been 2018. So while I was at that conference, I realized, okay, there's an issue here, And so I went to another conference. And actually, I was meeting already with a lot of companies. It's the Futures Conference that's happening in Toronto, August 10th to 11th. Oh, actually, it's 9th to 10th. And while I was there, a lot of companies were saying, well, you know what? If you start an organization, we're going to support you because we all know that this is an issue. So I ended up going home to Ottawa, and about 5 weeks later, I had a room of 100 people filled, and I got incorporated. And it was sold out because a lot of people wanted to learn about blockchain, and also a lot of people in the community a lot of women wanted to get involved. I already had speakers from the conference I went to, so it was just it happened very quickly. But I think it's also because I was in the community gathering. Their lawyers, they came and provided us support. So I had a lot of support in the Canadian community to do what I was doing. We also had Ubiquity become our sponsors. They were real estate on the blockchain company. So it's just amazing how much support I got to do this, because a lot of people recognized that, yes, this was an issue and let's try to address it together.
Wow, fantastic. And I'm sure this is an issue outside Canada as well. Are you guys thinking about going outside Canada? That would be good.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is correct. So we are, now that I've partnered with FitTech DAO, we are doing we are doing work outside of Canada. We're doing interviews, and we're also going to be doing events at universities in the US to educate people about what Polkadot is doing, what Web3 is, and all those things. So I look forward to speaking to all of you and collaborating as we move forward, so everybody can get an education of happening in the space, especially as metaverse is such a hot topic right now.
100%. I'll be happy to have a conversation on that. I think educating the young people, like lovely Kira just mentioned, if I wish I learned about Bitcoin happened in my university days. These sort of paradigm shifts, the earlier you get involved, and then the more opportunities you find. And this leads us to, sorry, I forgot about Han. Sorry, Han, before I move too quickly on to the next question, could you share with us how I know you said you joined KuCoin quite recently, so maybe, how did they persuade you? What made that quite attractive for you to join them?
So I think in summary, the reason why I get into crypto space is concluded into one word: fate. So I got to know Bitcoin when I was in university, I think around 2017. Sorry, 2013. But I couldn't really understand, and I think it's too much for me, and I couldn't really understand the underlying logic. Then when I was working in my company for financial and economic consultancy, and we went to a session organized by a quantitative trader who, gave us a brief presentation about how blockchain, works in general, and some introduction about Bitcoin. And by then, I thought it's something definitely not for me, because it was, I think it was super technical, and I know how to program to some extent, but not a geek level. So I said, okay. Then it was very interesting that I decided to quit my job before and return to my home country. And I had a call with my friends from MBA program. And they are the co-founders of the famous lending protocol, which is Benchy. So they told me their story about, I know they were furious about, very excited about blockchain when we were in the same school. I didn't really know they end up doing the thing. So their story really inspired me a lot. And I wanted to do something different. So I was, looking for jobs, to be honest, really without any help, because I had no similar experience before. And even if I was working in private equity, for just over a half year, but that was in the healthcare and pharmaceutical sector. So I got lucky and got to interview with the head of KuCoin Labs, and also the CEO Johnny, and we had very pleasant talk. And I also asked them a lot of questions about crypto and their investment thesis. So I think, in general, I'm not so far away from where I was before. So I think even if the industry is slightly different from where I have been, and I believe the underlying logic, especially regards to what I'm doing right now, is pretty much similar. So that's why I was lucky to get into this industry, and I really, really like it, because I'm in terms of this constellation, it's the star sign acquaintance. So occurrence. So I don't really like something I like something for a very short time period. But I think this industry, really excites me, and I have a lot of stuff to learn from the founders, from my teammates, and from other VCs. So and I was also lucky to see a lot of my past fellows. They joined this area. And now some of my friends, they are also the co-founders of the super exciting project, which I can't really disclose that. So just in short, in terms of what I'm doing here, so as I said before, we are the investment and incubator and research center. So basically, what I have been doing will be still also categorized into the three pillars. I won't talk too much about the investment and research, because that's too general. But for incubation, this is also something KuCoin Labs is now focusing on, because we believe really dig into the team, helping the team to understand their pain points, and also help them to really solve their like the problems and the bottlenecks is what a real VC like crypto VC should do. So our team and me, we do a lot of deal sourcing, and we try to talk to founders, identify early stage projects, and to understand their what they need, and why they do this project. So yeah. So if you want to know more, you can speak to me afterwards. Thanks.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Han. Fantastic to hear that. This is really happened to you, and also you enjoying it so much. That's very good to hear. And this leads very nicely to my next question, which is a lot of people are very hopeful about the opportunities Web3 is going to bring to I guess people from different parts of the world. I guess I just want to learn from you guys what you think in terms of opportunities that Web3 in general Web3 brings. What sort of opportunities and how do people pursue those? We'll start with Kira. Thank you.
Sure thing. Thank you very much. Yes, global connectivity is definitely what you said is what is bringing everybody together. And with the Web3 technology, the barrier to entry is very low, essentially. I mean, across the world, women are so restricted by so many different laws or governance or anything like that that's happening in their own country, whether it be they can't open a bank account, they don't have access to their finances, they can't have a passport, they can't own assets. So with that way, I think that Web3, just having that very low entry to barrier, all you need is an internet connection and a device that you can use to connect to the internet, and you're a way laugher. You can jump on and just explore any sort of opportunities. So I guess in the metaverse and the Web3 space, it unlocks women's economic potential. So you can be able to play to earn. So Axie Infinity is a prime example of that has really taken off. It's given people in developing worlds the opportunity to come in and they can play a game and they can get rewarded in tokens, and then they can take that value that they've earned using their time and efforts in the metaverse or on a game, and then they can translate that back into tangible value. Or so for an example, like for BitCountry, we have virtual land. So virtual land is deployed into the metaverse, and you can develop the virtual land, you can rent out the virtual land, you can program, or in the future we're looking that we'll be able to program it so you can develop games around them, so you can advertise on it. So all of these are income generation ways that people can use this technology to generate wealth. So I think in that respect of things, it really opens up the opportunities and it gives women an equal playing field to really jump on in and start to learn and create. I mean, even you can use the platforms to learn to earn. So you can go in, if you're wanting to learn more about blockchain technology or anything that is metaverse or associated in the industry, you can jump on and there's different platforms that will reward you just for learning, right? So the same sort of thing, you're rewarded in tokens for your work and your efforts. You can translate that into actually tangible value. So I think that's the really awesome thing about the opportunities that it will bring. I think the whole entire e-commerce space is going to be entirely transformed with Web 3.0. Every browser, every application that has been built on the Web 2.0 system at the moment that we're currently using, they can be transferred into the blockchain technology and revolutionized. So it gives the power back to the person that has the finances or the capability to actually go in there and use it. So I think it just levels up the playing field. There's no discrimination between gender, age, wealth, and all of that. It's just a really level playing field for anybody to come in and connect. You can find your own community. You can do business online, and it's just revolutionary in the way that we're moving forward. And I think that we're starting to realize that is actually a changing world, and the Web 3.0 is here to stay. And it's the best thing is just to get amongst it, because there's an opportunity for everybody, whether you're a musician, an artist, a designer, whatever your passion is, you can find a Web 3.0 application to generate income and just empower yourself.
Wow. That's a very good summary of at least of what I would be answering to that question. So and yeah, game methodology, we share a lot of that. So play to earn, play to learn, and build your own your own land or your own space world in the metaverse. So yeah, thanks for that insightful answer. And next, can we have Summer? You able to share something about those opportunities you think Web3 is going to bring? Can you unmute yourself, Summer?
Hello, could you hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Only contains metaverse, but also contains that like data, communication, and off storage, private computing, and essential to be more private and owned by people. So I think Web3 is not only built on metaverse, it's built by value. So I think actually, if something happened that has no different with Web2, I think there is no essential for this kind of applications or technologies to be occurred in Web3. So Web3 is not just made for named as Web3, but it might by values. Actually, in the very beginning, not quite understand the value of game. But after a few while, some investigation, I come to understand it a little bit. Because I think, if you are a YouTuber, you could also get money advertisement or subscription by you videos. It's this is something like that you can get shares in some Web3 platform, and for some like Web3 game. I think the most outstanding feature is that firstly, people could play and to earn and get their income by USDT or by some tokens, which could be used and paid globally. Because for many areas in this world, people do not have their own bank account, and it's very amazing that most people who play blockchain games like Axie Infinity, who is called Axie Scholar, a large proportion of this Axie Scholar was in Vietnam and the Philippines. It's very amazed. It shocked me in the very beginning, but finally I found out that average person in Philippines and Vietnam is about $4,000 a year, which is only percent of United States. So so that's why people like to play this anxiety games. So I think we want not only to use new technologies to express our ideas, but also want to help people who is in poor areas to improve their living standard. So I think that is also the value of this Web3 new world. So that's why we are not only looking for some new technologies like private computing, but also some new games that bring new lifestyles or change people's life in blockchain industry. And as an investor in crypto area, we also invest some blockchain or NFT games like is built on NFT technology. It's a FIFA game and draft show game, which has a very fancy feature is meditation to earn. Because if standard of evaluate game is just imagine if I will allow my daughters and sons to play this game in the future. If I won't let my kids play this game, won't invest it. Many games now it have contains like bad perspective, like violence or unfairness. But I think meditation to earn is very nice. It's a great invention. People are interested in this game, and we could also go and see if we can help. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Summer. That sounds like a wonderful game. I'll look that up later. But yeah, I personally relate to that, what you said, because that whole wealth redistribution is what partially what drew me to Web3 as well, and to think this going to provide that opportunity to the less privileged and less developed parts of the world. Yeah, definitely that's very important part of the value contribution from Web3. Thank you for that, Summer. And Han, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah. So maybe I will put in short. So I think before I answer this question, probably it makes more sense to identify what Web3 means to you, because I think for different people, metaverse or Web3 mean different things. So for me, I think the key difference between Web3 and other WebX is the decentralization. It means the ownership of our data and content, and even the monetization the platforms make from the contents of the identity belong to us will be finally entitled to us. So to achieve this ambitious or aggressive goal, I think there are definitely a lot of new opportunities coming. First of all, this similar to what Summer just mentioned before, and that also means great opportunities for Web2 companies, not to like traditional companies, because to support the goal, of course, there will be some improvements in the infrastructure, like the 3D, metaverse, AI connectivity area. So there will be a lot of improvements in the hardware or communication, some technology. Then these companies will definitely put on the full fire force to build such a strong foundation for Web3 application. And secondly, I think it means a lot of new ideas and talents and burgeoning communities. So that's why we are all here, right? Because I think Web3 gives people equal opportunities. And let's put it down in example. So I can say something like that. Like I use the corporation I used to work with are like multinational corporates. However, I still face some sort of gender, inequality. And sometimes people are challenging your skill, and they probably are rude to you based on because you are just a woman. And however, in Web3, and if you work for DAO, I mean, a lot of times you just take the task and then you will be credited. People won't pre-screen. Well, you're a girl, you're a lady. We can't give this to you. So people judge you based on the quality of the task you do. So I think that's why there are more and more, talents coming like us. And lastly, this is one thing I emphasize a lot. And I think this means there will be opportunity for decentralized identity, and I believe, and this is my philosophy. Once we have that, it will connect us like on-chain and off-chain data, so it will be compliant for DeFi applications. So will also encourage more interactions with social or gamified activities. So just put in simple, what is this? For me, I think this means definitely more new opportunities to collaborate with traditional companies to make it happen, and also it means more definitely investment opportunities for us, and for me to connect with a lot of similar people like us, like you guys, and also some new talents and founders. So I see. Yes, it's quite exciting. Thanks, Echo.
Thank you. Thank you, Han. That's a very important perspective to that value. So looking at it from an investment perspective, and also what you mentioned, I guess what a lot of people call the classic IT companies, they're upgrading into, or they're transforming into Web3. That itself is going to be filled with opportunities there, I'm sure. Okay, and lastly, Justina, what are your thoughts on that question?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of things. I mean, everybody said a lot of already good things like play to earn and learn to earn and things like that. But just to take it back for the audience, for those who may not be aware of what all of this is, I think that just to put it simply, we live in a world where a lot of the things have been designed by design to not think about women. Like, for example, in your kitchen, the size of like how many steps a woman has to take versus the height of a man. A lot of this stuff is by design, not thinking about what's happening and putting in that thought that, okay, like, are we putting in both genders? Like, we're still living in this century and they have to design a spacesuit for a woman. So that's like we're talking like that's one thing is the physical level, but now we're entering a space where like the metaverse where you can start designing things that are more for women. So I think for me, the opportunities will also be how do we use the metaverse as a tool to help to see how we can make things better for women. But also, women are responsible for most of the household decision spending. So if we don't think them about the design in Web3, we're also not thinking about so many things that they like that could be thought of. So, in my opinion, I think one of the biggest things will be economic empowerment. I think something that wasn't mentioned here is decentralized finance. We cannot miss that if we're going to be talking about Web3. And so I think part of empowerment is economic. Well, people did mention is economic empowerment. So how can we do that? Identification. How can we do that? More people have access to cell phones than water. It's difficult for some people in the developing world to even get the access to go to a bank physically. It's a lot easier for them to own a cell phone. So I think what Web3 does is, and what I'm hoping it will do is allow people to quickly get an ID and get their authentication and like what was mentioned earlier, on-chain and off-chain things. So how do we allow for the verification of the real world and put it onto the blockchain? So can we use, different things to help to identify people and then help them enter into other things? And then the metaverse thing is like a whole new world. It's like entering like a completely different space where I also think when we talk about bias, well, you know what? In the metaverse, what is gender anyway? So I think we're coming up to topics that are so beyond what we've been thinking about. And I think there are going to be a lot of opportunities for growth. It's going to obviously also come with challenges. But I think for me, what I'm really inspired about, what I see as an opportunity is for what the ladies mentioned earlier is like economic opportunities to earn, economic like ability to join, ability to manage. So those people who then make that money on acting, maybe they can take a loan, they can help support their children in school, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's just like, it's a layered approach. I think we won't have the time today to go into everything I would love to talk about with you. I think if I was to sum it up very quickly, it's, just to add to what everybody's already been saying, we have the level of ID, we have the level of decentralized finance, we have the level of like the ability to earn money on the internet so we can then spend it in the real world. And I think the combination of all that is just going to create a lot of opportunities economically, but also educationally for women. It's like also the metaverse will allow for cheap education. Right now you have to physically go to a classroom. A lot of women are sitting at home raising their kids. That's a barrier to entry. Now we're just removing that barrier. So I think that opportunities are so great. We don't even know yet how great they are because we haven't seen it in action. But what I'm really excited about the things that you're working on is, well, now it's a stay-at-home mom and she can have her own schedule and she can learn things and do things and complete courses that she may not have been able to do because she had to physically go somewhere. So I'm very excited about it.
Wow. Yeah, thanks for bringing that perspective into this as well. So getting that on-chain payment, yeah, it's that convenience and that remove those blockers and the barriers for women or people who are from the areas with restriction. That's very, very powerful. And the next question I would like to start with you, Justina, because I already know your answer to that. Do you think we have enough women players in this field, including users or leaders? I think I can guess.
I mean,
Thank
there's
you.
like I quote with my organization online, it's a very small percentage of leaders. The users I think are increasing now. CoinMarketCap did a study where like in the last bull run, finally they had like 50% of their user base as women in some countries. So like things started increasing in terms of them becoming investors. But I think overall in the space between like just being an investor, but also being a participant, like you said, a leader, there I don't it's already low in the STEM field, and then blockchain is even lower. So I think there's a lot of work to be done, and that starts with being able for people to have role models like us, so women can see that you can enter and it's a safe space, so then more people can enter. And also the educational part, I think, is another thing. It's like, where can women learn about it? If we make it easier for them to learn about it, then we also remove that barrier so that maybe they didn't study, who studied in school anyway, but how can they enter now?
Nice, thank you, and therefore that the work your organization does is so important. So yeah, thank you for that.
You.
And Summer, anything from you on your thoughts on the female players and users in this field?
Yeah, that's a pretty good question. Actually, I started my own company from 8 years ago. It is the year 2014. I was in my second year of master. So I was entrepreneur in Web2, and since 2018, I changed my industry from Web2 to crypto industry. But actually, it's rare to see ladies not only in Web3 but also in Web2 and also in many industries. Lady, I'm not rare to say in every company, but for ladies who could get a very high title, it's rarely to be seen. So I think it's not only a problem in Web3 industry, but also a problem for the whole female. And what's more, I can quite agree with Justina. I think Justina is a very nice lady, but I think actually it's not fair that ladies should take care of their family and their children. So I can quite understand why should lady take care of their children and work from home. Why cannot men do that for lady? So I think it's a not. I can't agree with that. That I think it's pretty unfair, and we might change our methods and values to think about that should be a lady must do. I think we should get rid of all these concepts. Actually, by some scientific lectures or articles, it shows that ladies, the speed of thinking is faster for females than males. And what's more, for females, they could link many concepts and ideas together than males. So I can quite agree that ladies should only do works which is now that fancy than men's. So, but now we could see that more and more ladies stands out, like sharing in Facebook, and I think for more female young ladies and young girls, they are as good as males, and even better than males. So for next 20 years or 10 years, the world might not be like today. So we're very confident and exciting to see what's going on in the future. Thank you.
Thanks, Summer. I don't know, Justina, if you wanted to respond to that.
I think we're saying the same thing in different words, because what I'm saying is I agree with you, but the reality still today is that I agree we can move on from these concepts, and men can help out women, and men can also stay at home with women, and men can work from home. I'm totally with you on this. But I'm also saying the reality today is that's not how it is. So I'm just talking about, like, this is still where Web 2 and how family is structured. So we need a paradigm shift in how we all think. And that's great that you have these concepts and you have the science, but as you know, human nature is like, it takes time for us to adopt. So I would love to talk to you further about that. And any research that you have that is great, pass it over to me. I'm always open to learning about that. I just know I know there's studies that have been done for the things that stop women from coming and taking courses or like doing things like that. And those are the things I haven't mentioned. So I'm talking about the studies that I've looked at, but I'm very happy to look at what you're saying. And I agree, but at the same time, there's a lot of things that are logically correct, but do people do it? No. So we need people like you to continue to advocate and educate and tell people. And over time, I think things will shift. So thank you for that.
Yeah. I'm very proud of Justina. I quite agree on that. We should all say no to the facts, to the unfairness. That if everyone just think it's normal, it's going on for hundreds of years, and ladies should take care of family. I don't think it's a very good way to speak for ourselves. But if we insist on say no on unfairness, this situation will be changed, and we have already seen that has been changed in the young generation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies, on that. I would like to move on to Han, if you have anything to add to that question.
Yeah, thanks, Echo. Actually, I think this is one. I actually prepared very well for this one because I was lucky to get a recent market survey done by KuCoin to really, answer this question.
Oh, wow.
Stina and Summer, they discuss a lot about, female leaders in this field. So I think that the market survey emphasized on the professionals and some enthusiasts, some passionate people about that. So I will just share some interesting findings. So first of all, the female Web3 professionals are generally more active in Web3 related activities than their male counterparts. And the female passionate people, they tend, although those people, those ladies who express their interest in crypto, they tend to be less active in Web3 investment. Secondly, 49% of the professional women have worked part-time or as freelancers in Web3 related industries. So I think this corroborates with what we discussed before. Web3 offers more flexibility to women. 33% of them have worked full-time. However, women seem to be less entrepreneurial compared to men. So only 27% have started their own Web3 related projects or business. So that's why we probably, we receive a lot of decks, to be honest, from the projects. I can't even remember one that have like the probably I think two. One of the ladies is a CFO and another one is CMO, but I don't say like CEO or CEO. So regarding the user base, and the KuCoin also did some other market surveys in the region such as Saudi Arabia, South Africa, America, Germany. So in general, I think for Saudi, South Africa, America, and Germany, so the women users probably fall in the range within 32% to 40%. But in Nigeria, it has been over just about 50%. So I think this is very interesting. I considering the time, so I'm not going to share more findings here, but I welcome everyone to check the KuCoin's or KuCoin Labs Twitter and to our company website to find the relevant report. I think this will be very interesting.
It's very very interesting. So this was a research done by Cocoon Labs, yeah?
No. It's done by not our team, but other. I think it's done by our branding team. So we'll have a dedicated team to do the market survey for.
It's published.
Yeah.
Okay. Very interesting.
Announced the survey, I think, 2 days ago.
Oh, okay. I'll definitely have a look. And in terms of female CEO, now you've met me, Han. So
yeah.
I'll change aesthetics. Okay, but all right. So Kira, on that one, if I know our time has run out a little bit, so maybe just give us a very, very brief answer to that question, if you can.
Yeah, I think the briefest answer is no, as short as it is. But I think that is kind of just stemmed from that blockchain technology has come to, or initially serviced the finance industry and also serviced as in the software industry. So both of those fields are traditionally very male dominated, but I think that we are building applications and making changes that we're building products for everybody. We're not just building for the tech software industry. We're not just building for the finance industry. We're building for all users. We want mass adoption of Web 3.0. So I think that to be able to build good products that everybody is going to be able to use, we need that female influence in there. Females think differently. We communicate differently. As we all know, like we are different. That's why there's two of us, right? So there's the male and the female, and together, I think Han brushed on some really good stats just there. But I think that to build the best products in the Web3 space, we do need to cooperate together, and we do need to be heard, because we want mass adoption of this technology moving forward. So in short, I think that's where we'll leave that one.
Thank you for that. I think we for sure, that's just one from myself. It's within my team. Right now I have perfectly half of our team members are female and half of male, and I'm very proud of that, and I do see the difference that makes to the team, to having that balance. So I think so that summarizes really, really well for our session today, to know there are plenty of opportunities out there in Web3, and when it comes to women, that's definitely not enough being done. There are different ways that we can help more women getting into the field, from investment perspective, I guess, from education perspective, from a more deep down philosophy level of thought changing. That takes not just women ourselves, it takes men to get there, to help us. So before we wrap up, anything that you guys really want to say to women out there listening to this, or curious about getting into, any one very brief comments from anyone?
Yeah, it's very nice. For me, it's not only going to industry of Web3, but every industry that people should think about that. Would you like to work in this industry for another 5 to 20 years? Yeah, if it's true, then it's very welcome for them to join this industry. Thank you.
Lovely. Yeah, that long-term thinking, 100%. And I remember, I think it was from Hans' first market research, saying women in Web3 is more passionate than their male counterparts. I can definitely tell that by today's session. I think from all your answers to all the questions, the passion is one word that comes to my mind. It shines through whatever you guys do, and I think we all work in different areas in the industry, but I can definitely say passion for making difference, passion for making changes, and passion for a new era to come. So thank you again for your time, and that's today's roundtable session.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for everyone out there listening, and thanks for your participation. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.